Okay, so today we're going to do our break-in service. We're going to start by draining the fluids while it's warm. Then we'll go into making sure the heads are okay, check the spark plugs, retorque the heads, check the valve clearances, and just give the bike a bit of a run through and make sure that everything is doing all right with the break-in period. And yeah, so let's get cracking. So the first thing, we're going to take out the oil filter. That's the motor is warm right now, so I'm going to be more than careful with where I put my hands. Okay, so this motor had a lot of work done. We did a complete overhaul. Everything short of taking the crank completely out of the block. And it has new cylinder heads, the Siebenrock power kit, and I had a little bit of very fine particulate matter on the plug. I don't suspect it's problematic. But I'll have to do a little bit of research to see, just to make sure. Because it's very fine. Could be just some sludge from the new cam followers are in here, new piston rings, new pistons. Yeah, I think a little bit of something is to be expected. But on the whole, nothing scary yet. I'll take a closer look when I drain the pan. Now we're gonna same thing for the gearbox. Why did it sing? Okay, now, so the gearbox drain plug, we've got a little bit more. Now there is a new taller fifth gear in there. So maybe the same thing going on there. Just a little bit of wear on new parts. I'm going to drain the final drive as well, because this also got serviced. Even though I don't think a whole lot changed. That didn't work. Okay, we got everything as far as we're going to go for now. We got to wait until things cool off a bit before we can start cracking into it. So we'll pause here and come back when it's time to continue. going to use the vent screw to refill it, so I'll leave that off for now. That is the wrong one. This is the one I need. That's it. Gasket, O-ring, and the shim on top. So I was very careful to make sure that those were aligned when I put them in. And now I'm keeping pressure on them when I get the screws put in. Any chance. Can't get that one exactly. Oh, it's all right. Okay, so I think we're at the remove the lower cover stage. Oil pan looks great inside. Yes. No chunkies, nothing. Okay, oil pan is off. Gasket looks good. Well, not to reuse, but it was holding up just fine. I am a little curious about this. It's like there's a little tiny bit of like a gasket material. Maybe something that got flushed through. It was not metallic, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. All right. All right, time to get some parts and get organized. Okay, so we have a little bit of work to do. Got everything kind of set up here. As you can see, we've got silicone gasket, expansion ring, another silicone gasket, and the original oil pan. Some things I have to remember here. I'm going to go ahead and do this now just to kind of see. So, because there's this expansion ring, you have a difference of the screws that held the oil pan on and the new screws. So the new screws obviously go a fair bit deeper in. One of them, this one, has to go in a very specific location. It's only 50 millimeters, and it needs to go into this hole right here so that it doesn't go deep enough to impact this oil tube. So there's that issue that I need to remember to take care of. The other thing that we need to do is we need to measure a few things here, because we've got a number of options for the length of bolt that will be used for the pickup. So, okay. So the oil pickup goes in the bottom there, mounts through a gasket at the top. We also have an expansion ring for the gasket, but we need to make sure that these have the right amount of distance that goes through. So I am going to real quick measure. And I'm getting 15.7. 15.7. I'll call it 15.5 once I get it straight. 15.5 millimeters that stick up. So what we'll do is we'll put the expansion ring on, and we're looking for a bolt that is 15.5 longer. Now, I'm pretty sure I can just do the same thing by comparing the distances here to see which one is this much longer, which is these two. So if I put that in, hold it, and I'm getting 16.1, so it's 1 millimeter difference. Putting the washers in and the gaskets, I think that's going to be fine. So these are the two that I'm going to use. Just going to pull over the washers. Like that. All right. Just make sure my sealing surfaces are all clean and dry. So one of the pains in this is that there's now going to be two gasket layers, one above and one below the expansion ring and its components. So that'll be something to deal with, but can't do anything about it. So this will go in like that. Okay, give this a little bit of medium thread locker. There. Okay, got my torque wrench set for 80 inch-pounds. There's that. There you go. 80 and 80. All right. Put our spring retainer back on. Well, that was my fingernail I bent. All right. That is done. Okay, sure. This. So I'm just like short. Two. That is what? Okay, and I can say absolutely the pain in this is going to come from the silicone gaskets, which kind of want to walk a little bit. So, distance. Right. Hey. That is a problem. Okay, I need to figure something else out here because this is getting in the way. Okay, I'll be back. I don't love it, but I think that'll work. The question I have now is, how will this silicone gasket hold up? Because the manufacturer did not want that torqued over 20 inch-pounds. Inch-pounds? Hold on. Inch-pounds. And I just did close to 4 times that, because these spec calls for 80 inch-pounds. I backed them off about 11% because I used, you probably saw, I had some anti-seize because I don't want to have galling. When you do that, you want to reduce the torque just a bit. So I did, but yeah, well, we'll see how this holds up. This is an experiment. I think the pan is good. The springs have a little bit of an issue. They're really close, so they may prove to be a problem. We shall see. But yeah, if they are, we'll take it off and put new gaskets on and see how that works out. Okay, bit of a new angle. I've already gone through the other side of the bike. Got the valves done, retorqued the heads, everything looked good. So now we're on to this side to get things going. But first I need to get a tray because this is going to dribble oil. All right, break-in service is done. So what we did, drained all the fluids. We added the Siebenrock spacer ring. Probably gonna have to come back and change this gasket, but we'll deal with that later. We'll see how it does on the road a little bit. So we added the spacer ring, we retorqued the heads, re-gapped the spark plugs. They were actually quite a bit out. And checked the valves. All the fluids checked out just fine. Everything's good. So now I'm going to give it a wipe down. We'll get it out of the basement so I can get back to work on blue.